KD, man, what was it like? You know, you mentioned Juvenile and stuff, and of course, we've heard some of your other music with Juvenile, Snoop, E40. What was it like working with some of those guys?
So yeah, so it was definitely so. Like sometimes I ain't gonna lie. Like sometimes I still just sit back, like, damn, man. At the end of the day, like real talk, man, I was a fan of these guys. You know what I'm saying? So to become a friend, to where like,
Demi, what was it like for you knowing that like Alice Cooper decided to cover one of y'all songs? Like,
it was crazy. Actually, Tuck called me up. He's like, Demi, you ain't gonna believe this. I'm like, what? Phil. He ended up going in the studio with Bob Ezra and Alice Cooper's in there, like still writing. The drummer of the band U2 was actually in there recording on that track, which is crazy because
they're off in the Kentucky Derby.
Interest of the greater good for me to smoke a joint and calm down.
Greatest. He'll fall an eight to prove that I'm great. And if he keeps talking Jack, I'm going to cut it to five.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Ville Chillin' Podcast. Today we have the honor to be talking to KD and Demi. Man, if you don't know who they are, where have you been the last like 20 years? Because that song, My Old Kentucky Home, man, 20 years ago, right? It's when it first came out?
Yeah, 20 years ago.
That's wild. I remember being a kid, you know, just listening to that, jamming to that, you know, 11, 12, 13 years old, probably all through the teens, really. I mean,
that's what's up.
The original anyways, yeah. And so it's really cool that it came back out, and it's really cool to be able to actually connect with you guys, man. It's an honor, for real. Thank you.
Yeah, we appreciate you having us.
Of course. We're stoked about it. We saw you at Gaslight. It was an awesome performance. We didn't come up and bother you. We got there like right as things were starting, and then looks like you had quite a few people coming around afterwards. So we didn't want to bother you there, but it was awesome to see it in person, for real.
Okay, appreciate it, man. Yeah, you could have came up to us, man. We very approachable.
I know. You had quite a few people though, and my daughter was there. She was getting a little antsy, I guess. So she loves the song though. She calls it her favorite song right now. Whenever I play it, whenever I play music, period, she asks for My Kentucky Home. He can attest to it.
Repeat.
So we appreciate it.
5 years old, man. Actually, I got a video of her jamming out to it, like trying to play it on the ukulele or something. Even though she has no idea what she's doing, but she's trying.
yeah. You gotta send that to us.
I will, for real. I posted it on Facebook, but I can definitely share it out to you guys if I'm okay with it. But it's really cool. So I guess just to jump into it, for one, I guess why don't you guys kind of introduce yourselves and how long you've been in music and how long you've been doing this?
I'll start. Demi Demery here. I've been doing music since. First recording I ever did, I was 13. Mom's Music. Didn't really have a band at the time. Recorded a song, can't find it. Then I started a band with some guys called Plan of Man back in 97-ish, 98. And we were active till about 2003, 2004, I'd say, because Villebillies was starting around 2000, 2001. And then I had a band called Iron Bells after that. Bass Drum Aliens. I have a solo project called Ipkiss Pinecone. Yeah, I think that's about it.
It's pretty much forever at this point.
Yeah. Right. a lifetime of work. Yeah, I've been doing music for a while myself. I probably started to take it serious when we recorded. I used to be with a group called the Thoroughbreds.
Okay.
Well, yeah, we did a song called 502 that they released on the radio. That was like 2000, I believe. So like 99 to 2000. So like that's probably, I've been doing music all my life, but as far as like taking it seriously, actually putting out a project or something, probably since about 2000, since that project.
That's what's up. That sounds dope. I mean, we always love being able to connect to local artists in here and the origins of it. So,
how did y'all link up then? Y'all both kind of started, similar time. Y'all been doing this a long time, and then was this just like a networking thing where y'all first got together when y'all first came out with the song?
Well, I guess I can tell that story. So basically, at that time, Demi was with the Villebillies, which was a big group doing his thing, super popular in the area. So I had recorded a song with me and Juvenile. Juvenile, he's like a big brother to me or whatever. I've been knowing him for a while. So me and him did a song together that we put on the radio called We Gon' Rock It. So it was like super playing on B96, just playing all over the places. They was booking us for shows. Like back then they had like the Russ Parr morning show that they had me and Lil Scrappy booked for like a show, and just like other people, just different stuff. The song was just like really popular and kind of like the urban community or whatever. So, but that kind of gave me the leverage to be able to call people up or reach out to people to try to do some collaborations or something like that, because that kind of is what sparked me being known as an artist in Kentucky. So I was literally just in Atlanta, and I hooked up with Scales from Nappy Roots, because me and some of the Nappy Roots guys was cool. So I hooked up with Scales from Nappy Roots, and he played this track for me, which was the My Kentucky Home track, from this producer that sent him some beats from Germany. So I listened to it, and then I just instantly was like, man, I want to do something to just like kind of bridge the gap, bring people together. You know what I'm saying? Like no matter the demographic or any of that, just do something to bring people together. So I just instantly thought of the Villebillies. So then I had to find out. I'm like, I did some research on the Villebillies. So because I knew it was a lot of them, but I didn't really know who I wanted in there. Like one of the guys I knew, Tubi, I had just been knowing him. But so when I checked him out, and then as soon as I seen Demi, I said, man, that's what I want. I want that guy right there. I need to find him. So I called a couple people, got his number, called him straight up like, hey, I'm KD. And he had heard of me and knew who I was. And I'm like, man, I want to do a song, me, you, and Nappy Roots, blah, blah, blah. And he was like, cool, let's do it. So I left Atlanta, like right when he said, okay, let's do it. I said, all right, I'm about to come pick you up. I'm going to leave Atlanta. I'm about to come get you. And we're going to go to Atlanta and record it. He said, all right, cool. So I left Atlanta, drove to Louisville, picked him up, turned him and this guy named Will, one of his good friends, like his business partner, turned right around and drove right back to Atlanta. We went to my friend Goodfellas' house, who was signed with like Static Major. He was a major artist, doing his thing. So we went to Goodfellas' house, drunk a bunch of beers, smoked a bunch of pot, and sit there. We all just wrote it, went to the studio, and then we just recorded it and dropped it. Like everything we went and recorded, we was probably still reading off the paper. We literally went to Goodfellas' house, just set up, wrote it, left there, went straight to the studio in Atlanta, recorded it. Then we listened to the way we knew it was a hit, because on the way home, we literally listened to it for 6 hours straight. Like it was a 6-hour drive from Louisville to Atlanta. Like, and none of us, it was 4 of us in the car. None of us got tired of it. None of us stopped. Like we just kept saying, man, play that shit again.
One more time.
Yes. Like, and that's how we knew, like, damn, this is a hit record. And then the rest was history.
That's awesome. That's really awesome, man. That's a story that that you can't make that up. That's so good. It's so crazy.
That collaboration could even happen today. Like with the internet and everything else. A lot of times I think artists kind of they'll record their own thing like in their studio, and then somebody else, and then kind of mesh it together. Where y'all was in the studio together, kind of drinking, just feeling the vibe and being able to make that happen.
And not just that, but driving 6 hours to make it happen. 6 hours there, 6 hours back.
Yeah. I'm about to say 12 hours to make it. Well, 6 there, 6 to get Demi, 6 back to Atlanta, and then 6 back to Louisville.
Yeah, 18 hours, man, just to make that track happen.
Just for that, like, spur of the moment. And Demi was just so real. He was so all about it, so cool. Like, it was literally no planning or nothing. I literally heard that beat, thought of them, did some quick research, called a couple people just from being connected, got straight in touch with them, Boom. Said, I'm about to come and get you. He said, all right. He didn't even know Atlanta was that far.
He thought maybe a couple hours. He's like, yeah, we'll figure it out.
We're in that car forever.
Yeah, it's a drive.
Because when you're not expecting it, you know.
Yeah.
And yeah, I didn't think we were ever going to get there.
But I mean, knowing now, like, it was worth it. Exactly. That's what I was about to ask. Was it worth it? Once everything happened, that happened, man. And it's really cool to me knowing that the beat's from Germany. That just adds a whole nother, like, feel to it. Because you said the producer was in Germany, or like the beat maker was in Germany, right?
Yeah, right. A guy named Shuko. He had made the beat for that first one. But that's what makes. But so with that. That's what even makes the second one so much better, because the second one, it's not like just one producer. It's literally every single instrument is a live instrument that was played, that came in the session and had their own whole session. The harmonica guy, it's really the harmonica. The same guy in the video, he's really playing the harmonica on the song. The two guitar people, they really playing the guitars on the song. Like a drummer to do the drum, like every single sound was a true live sound that we kind of recreated in the same but different. So it's not a remix, it's a remake.
Right. No, it was really cool to see that. You know, when I saw you on Don G, I saw that, and then I saw you with DJ X, man, and it was really cool to hear that you did live instruments. What made you want to do live instruments this time?
Crosby, Stills, and Nash.
That part of it.
Yeah. Crosby, Stills, and Nash, man. Yeah, they pretty much. I'm trying to think of a good word to use. Like, they pretty much like.
Well, here I'll help you out. That producer put a harmonica sample from Crosby, Stills, and Nash in the song, and we didn't know that.
Okay.
And then, we were going to Universal and everything, and we got record deals, multiple at the time. Like KD got signed, Villebillies got signed, and they were really wanting to push big on that song because it was doing so well on the radio here and regionally. And then they find out it's like, oh, this has a Crosby, Stills, and Nash harmonica in it, and they were not even going to let us use it.
Oh man.
But then they agreed if they got 90% of the song.
Oh man!
So they got paid on.
Yeah, they got a big chunk of the song, and like that's kind of what was like. It kind of just made like derail like the record deal and everything, because like say with a record company, right? It is record company. Best analogy is like it's just like a man. You know what I'm saying? So say you meet a new chick and you think this chick is super hot, very hot, and you trying everything in your power to sleep with this chick, and she won't let you sleep with her. Eventually, you'll probably just move on to the next person. You see what I'm saying? So with a record company, you the hottest new chick to them. You the hottest new thing. They want you. They want to see what they can get out of you. They want to put you out there, get that money off of you. And then when a hiccup comes, like a wall, because it took Crosby, Stills, and Nash 6 months to clear it. Like, so when they was like, let's put this out, and we can't. So then like, what else can we do? And the crazy thing about it is, I had that song with Juvenile. And I didn't know at that time, because when I went to sign with Universal, it was like probably 5 record labels trying to sign me. Universal just gave me the best car salesman talk. Like, this is the best car in the world. Drive our car. Like, here, we're going to give you the world. We're going to give you the world. And then you pull off the car lot and the car breaks down type shit. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, so we're going with that and just not really knowing the game at the time, about knowing like of your roster, of who's on your label, things like that. Universal said, okay, we can't do this song with you, Michael Take You Home. Let's push this song with you and Juvenile. But at that time, Leo Korn, who's the CEO of Atlantic, which Juvie was on, and Monty Littman, who's the CEO of Universal, which I was on, Universal Motown, they wasn't seeing eye to eye at that time. So Atlantic wasn't clearing anything for Universal. Universal wasn't clearing anything for Atlantic. So the two songs that they wanted to push out, one had a sample that Crosby, Stills, and Nash wouldn't clear at first. Right. Took 6 months. Then the next one with me and Juvie, they couldn't get that clear because Atlantic wouldn't clear it. So finally, when it finally came time and everything got cleared, the My Kentucky Home, Crosby, Stills, and Nash, after negotiation, finally agreed because they said they didn't like no rap music. They didn't want their music a part of any rap or anything at all. So we finally got them to agree to that. And at the same time, when they finally got Atlantic, so Atlantic had to let, I think it was something like Brian McKnight or something. So I don't know if y'all know who Brian McKnight is, but basically, so the way he's like a popular R&B singer, like, but the way that it got clear was Universal had to agree to let Brian McKnight appear on an Atlantic upcoming artist's album and sign off free and clear for Juvenile to be on my album. They like, we don't care if you and Juvie homies, because Juvie has signed all the paperwork. Like, man, it's cool, it's all good, he can use. They like, we don't care, y'all can do it and kick it all day long. But without the releases, it ain't gonna be released. So you just never know how the big business is. So basically, two CEOs who was having disagreements from Universal and Atlantic couldn't clear the song because of their disagreements. And the only way they made it happen, because Atlantic was like, we don't want a multi-platinum artist on our label, on one of your new artists' label, blowing your new artists up. Like, right. So in return, you got to give us a multi-platinum artist on one of our upcoming art. Like, it's way deeper than just, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, this music.
It's like a bad divorce, like on steroids, kind of like. For the, right,
man.
Part of, like, with the business.
Like, and all off of stuff we couldn't control. Like, you feel me? Like, just as far as the high level of this being a real business, it's 90% business, 10% talent.
And that sucks too, because who knows where that like ride could have like gone if people would just get along better and like just let music be music, you know, music for music's sake. It sucks that it comes down that strict.
Yeah,
yeah. Most people that make those decisions aren't artists. You know what I mean?
Absolutely, yeah. Right. It's all about the dollar. Yeah.
How much art, and talent, and is held back from everybody because of shit like that. You know.
Yeah, and it's like just learning the game. So like, if I ever would sign a record deal, one thing I would ever tell an artist before they sign a record deal, look at the roster. Look at the roster, because whoever's on your roster is different. Now, anybody on Universal's roster, we had open fair game to. Like, that's easy. That's easy work, like, because you're on the same label. But if you want to do work, like, with some people and you plan on signing a record deal, look and see who the artist list is or who's the artist, because that's going to be your easiest way to get it cleared.
Man, that's some good advice, too, to any up-and-coming artist or anybody who's passionate about music, wanting to try to make a dream of it. That's some damn good advice, because that's one thing, like you said, most people don't know. Most people don't really see that level of it.
Yeah, I didn't even think to look at that, because all I had to do was just sign with Atlantic, because Atlantic wanted to sign me instead of Universal, and then at least the KD and Juvie, it still would have been the Crosby, Stills, and Nash situation, but at least they would have went ahead and rolled with the KD and Juvie with no problem, because Juvenile was on Atlantic. Right.
Man, that's wild. Yeah. It's crazy just hearing that. And to go full circle, I mean, so that's what made you want to use live instruments on it, is because as long as you brought live instruments in, you could do whatever the hell you wanted with this new one.
Right. Ain't no samples, ain't no none of that. They ain't getting me again like that. Nah, ain't no nothing. We played everything live, everything. Like, yeah. And shout out to Rucker, Radio Ruck. He's the one that basically meshed it and put it all together. And, because we had each person come in on their own separate session to do like the live harmonica, the drum, and the guitars or whatever, and then Rucker mashed it together. We just knew the sounds we wanted everybody to do. So me, Demi, Rucker, we would be in the studio, would have one of them come in. Demi might be humming the part of how he wants them to play it. Then they all understood the assignment, and they got it. Like, it was literally one of the hardest but easiest songs I've ever done in my life.
That's what's up. Like, and for real, and it turned out to be such an amazing remake too. For real, like you can hear the similarities between the two, but it literally just sounds like a newer version, like an evolved and upgraded version of the old one. You know,
it pulls you in with that guitar riff at the very beginning,
yeah.
just like gets your attention. You know something's about to happen. Like
right. Yeah. We appreciate that, man. Yeah, the first thing you hear, that's the old version of my, like, not our version, but that's literally the what's his name?
Is it Foster or
Stephen Foster? Yeah. So yeah, that that my old Kentucky, like, that's literally, we just gave a nod to that version, and then we kicking into our version, like.
And it works out perfect. Like, it really does. It's one of those ones you can still play on repeat. I mean, we play it on repeat half the time, or at least I do when I'm with my daughter, you know. So I get the same vibe. It's weird because you said the original y'all just played on repeat. Well, this one's pretty much on repeat half the time.
Man, we appreciate that, man. We just trying to spread unity and togetherness, man. That's all, man. Like, I lived wrong for so long, I didn't know how good it feel to live right, man. I just wake up every day blessed and thankful. Man, we just trying to spread togetherness and unity, man. And I know I'm talking a lot, man. Demi can chime in at any point, man.
I was just gonna jump into something I was thinking about. Because you had your hang-ups with Universal. Well, we got signed by Monty Littman. Monty Littman at first, and then there was some kind of quarrel between him and Jolene Cherry, who is also, up in the game at Universal, and she got to keep the Villebillies. We didn't really think that was what was going to happen because we wanted to go with Monty Littman. Well, it doesn't really matter. Even as you as an artist, once you're signed, if they want to give you over to somebody else and now, like, no, this is the person that's doing your record now, there's nothing you can do about it. You're just stuck with that. And then when things didn't work out with, Jolene, and we got sent over to somebody named Sylvia Rohn, who she was concerned with, like, Lil Wayne. It's like she didn't understand the Villebillies. She didn't sign us. So at the end of the day, we got shelved, because, and basically shelf means your records, if it comes out at all, it's going to be like the littlest drip of a push with no money behind it. So, I mean, yeah, it was just a big old nightmare. It sucks, but.
Because the main reason to have that label is for the marketing and promotion, and if they're putting you on the shelf, then there's not much benefit from that support, right?
I mean, we got to go on tour, which had good experiences. I got to work with big producers, and a lot of cool stuff has happened. Like Alice Cooper ended up remaking a Villebillies song, and called Holy Water. And we wouldn't have been able to do that if we hadn't worked with the producer he works with still to this day, Bob Ezrin. So there's definitely cool things came out of it, but I mean, we would have been a household name if it wasn't, for all the politics going on in the upper echelon of the record label.
100%. I mean, I agree with that on both fronts. Like, I mean, as separate artists, KD and Demi, and then as, artists working on the same stuff, I think, Villebillies and everything. I've listened to Villebillies for a while. I've listened to some of, the KD older stuff, and I think there was definitely potential there either way, but when you're stuck under a label who doesn't want to do anything with it, that's got to be tough. I mean, they kind of like, they got you. They just got you in their hand at that point. They're just like, well, you can't do anything, and we're not going to let you do anything. That sounds horrible.
So the one crazy thing about it, a lot of people, when that happens, the label still keeps control of your stuff. So if you ever heard about different artists having issues about publishing and things like that, that's because even if they're not on that label still has all that material. You know what I'm saying? That's the most of the common thing. So for me, I don't know, Demi, I don't know how it happened with the Villebillies with y'all, but for me, I ended up getting out of my deal free and clear. So for me, I had the option at that time stay on the label and be shelved because they was now worried about Chameleonaire because that was when Chameleonaire was first coming out, rap out of Texas, and they had all that trouble with my stuff. Or they would let me go free and clear where I own all my masters. I ain't owe them no money back because they cut me a big check off top. Like, so I ain't owe no money back. I own all my masters, I own everything. So that's relevant because without that, then even doing this new one, we would probably still have to pay Universal some money if they own. But by me being free and clear, it means I own the rights to everything, to all of my old stuff, all of my music, my Kentucky home, and I didn't owe them any money, anything. So I could go. I thought at the time, like, oh, well, shit, I just go to another label. But nah, it wasn't that easy. Like, you know what I'm saying? To just by that time, the momentum had kind of killed itself. And other labels was upset that I didn't go with them at that time, and I went with Universal. Like, it ain't just cut and dry. Like, you got good music here, we gonna sign you a record deal. Now, it's the people's emotional feelings, and these are the executives who's making life that's changing decisions for people. You know what I'm saying? Whether it be emotionally they upset with somebody else or upset about this or mad, like they still just regular people, like that's making these executive decisions that can change a person's life. So. Luckily I got out free and clear. Or that's why we're able to have this situation going on right now.
Love that too. Like, and there's so many artists that, especially back in the day, like before, like the internet really, blew up, gave people information and more freedom. You hear about like the TLCs and Prince and stuff, like where, like as far as like their masters and stuff, they had to like struggle to get those. So I love that you was able to walk away, with your art, your artist, art. Would you say now is easier for artists to be more independent and not have to depend on that support, from like the labels?
Well, in my opinion, the labels help just solidify you and put that stamp on you, and they just make the process a little faster and easier. Like, if you don't have the bag, like, because to make it, you got to kind of have money and kind of have the bag. Like, people may think you can just throw something on YouTube and it's just going to blow. Like, yeah, like you got them very few situations it's going to happen. But most of the time, you got to put money in your YouTube. You got to put money in your Facebook. You got to put money in your IG and your Twitter, your X or whatever. Like the platform set up to where, like say when I'm on Facebook or Instagram, even though I might have 5,000, 10,000 friends or followers or whatever, I'm only seeing the same 100 all the time. The same 100. Ain't no way. Like, out of these 5,000, I see the same 100 all the time. You know what I'm saying? And that's because of that. But when you pay some money to promote yourself, then they're going to let you be seen to all the people on your friends list and all the different people. So it's still all about the money. So if you don't really have the money, yeah, if you can get it with a record label, then my opinion, I still recommend a record label just to get out here, because if you about more than just the art of the music, because there's so much more you can get. To me, you don't have to give me a bunch of money up front. Get me out there to the world, then I'm going to sell myself. I'm going to act. I'm going to do merchandise. I'm going to do this. I'm going to have businesses. I'm going to do all types of stuff. So by that level, a record label is good. But if you got the funding to fund it yourself and you do have the bag, then the independent route is the best way. So it's just really not about the money, the money that you can spend without expecting instant gratification. We all love instant gratification. That's why a lot of people sell drugs. They don't want to wait 2 weeks for that check. They want to go do something and get the money right then. So if you can spend the money and not expect to get it back quickly, then the independent route. But if you don't have that bread, then a label can help you get out quicker to try to capitalize off the fame to make you some money.
And then, though, too, you got to think about that. Like, age is a factor too. You have a window in your life to be able to do things, and it's like, what's hot for this amount of time? What style of music is popping? And you'll constantly see, a lot of these similar sounding, say, hip hop artists or bands all start popping at the same time. And then they got like, a 5, 6, 7 year run, maybe. And then there's a whole new thing that comes in. You know what I mean? So if you really want to, continue to do music, that's what I tell people all the time. You better love what you do. You better stand behind your music, whether it reaches, big audiences or ever you paid or whatever, you really want to make sure that you're proud of what you're doing. Don't make music that you think is just going to sell to people that you don't really like, because then if it doesn't do anything, you're stuck with music that you don't like. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Oh
Yeah.
And it worked out for you guys too, because a song that you guys are bringing back from then, like I feel like it's going to really resonate more so now, just with the way like kind of like the hip hop country crossovers has really been it seems like it's been streamlined here recently, always from other artists. So it seems like you guys were really ahead of the game, ahead of the boat with that.
Way ahead, way ahead of our time.
Villebillies, Nappy Roots. I mean, we were doing that stuff, pretty early on before it caught on and got, popular.
Yeah, I mean, y'all were before like the Jason Aldean Ludacris that came out on the CMTs that one year. You had Tim McGraw and Nelly. I think y'all were before that. And even then, now recently was, Jelly Roll, Post Malone, Beyonce, Shabuzi.
Yes.
Exactly, dude. Dax, like even Lil Durk jumped on a damn country song with Morgan Wallen, so I mean, it's really big now, and y'all were doing it way before. So I mean, it's wild, but it's good that y'all were able to recreate that, remake that song, and and actually own it this time. What made you want to remake it?
We're working on a whole EP, so. Hopefully we're gonna have a whole EP for y'all. We already got another song recorded, so we got a few more we got to record. We just want to make it like we're not rushing it. We just want to make it the best quality, fun music that we can make it.
And we heard the new one at Gaslight, right? Was that the first time you did it live?
Yeah, it was the first time we had ever did it, together.
It sounded awesome because I saw the post on Facebook a few weeks ago, or like right after we had first set this up, and I was like, oh, that's cool. I wonder if we're gonna hear it. And then we heard it at Gaslight, man. It caught my ear for sure. Like I'm looking forward to the whole work to be put out, like for real. I thought it was dope. I wish I could hear it again, but I heard it once. I can wait till it's actually out. But so when it comes to the remake of My Old Kentucky Home, what made you want to redo it? I know, like you said, that doing the live instruments was because of the sample that was on it. Is that the reason you wanted to remake the whole song in the first place, or was it just like, hey, it's just time, we need to do this?
Man, actually, it just kind of fell in. I mean, it just all kind of fell into place, man. Like, and not to just hit your audience or whoever with too much God talk, but man, it was really just God. Like, just straight up, man. Like, it may seem like we in the driver's seat, but we ain't. We just sitting there. It's the man upstairs, man. It literally, I was like, I didn't do music at all. Demi is still did music, but like, I didn't do music at all. And so, like, when I was working with this company on some other business, and they was like, they didn't even know that I was KD. They didn't even know that I did music or none of that. They just, knew me by just my regular full name. We just we was doing business together for a different company. And then one day I was just, was like, hey, I'm KD. I forgot how it came up. I had the song My Kentucky Home. And then they was just like, man, let's just redo that. Let's redo that. We got all the facilities. We got all which is Hatfield Media. So they had all the, video stuff, the video team, they got the social media team, the marketing company, like a one-stop shop. So we just all came in a partnership, and then we just decided to redo it. And it just so happened to be 20 years. Like, I knew these guys probably like 2 years before they even knew that I was KD and that I, had did My Kentucky Home and I used to do music. And it just lined up to be 20 years on its own. Like, it was literally, we didn't pre-plan it. We didn't pre-think about it. We didn't, nothing. Me and Demi hadn't talked, like, even though we was cool, like our bond is like so cool. Like, we hadn't talked though in like years. And literally I happened to move right around the corner from him And I went to this pizza place one day, and then he just came walking in. And then I got his number, like, man, what the fuck? Like, man, give me your number, man. What's up? We exchanged numbers because we didn't even have each other's number or anything. And that happened to be like a month before.
Was it Spinelli's? Sorry,
Nah,
I'm a big pizza fan. I'm a big pizza fan.
It was legit just called the Pizza Place in Hikes Point.
Okay.
In Oxmoor?
No, in Hikes Point.
Hikes Point, okay.
Yeah, so
sorry.
So then yep, and this was like a month before they realized I was KD. So like I had seen him, we had kicked it and changed numbers, and then the following month is when they realized I was KD, and then we started working on the song. Like we worked on the song for probably about 8 months.
Okay.
Yeah, like 8 months.
That's
like just having sessions like to get it all the way right. Like having different sessions with the guitar people, the harmonica people, and like literally it was the hardest but the easiest thing I ever done.
I guarantee it too. You know, when you're working with people playing it live, it's a different thing trying to make sure all of those beats are on point. You know, it has to be perfect. It's not just playing the same little, eighth beat thing over and over, just copy and pasting until it's right. Or it's a lot different for sure. Trying to produce something with live instruments like that, but it came out awesome for sure.
Yeah, shout out to Rucker for that, man. Rucker, he put his time and really his ear on it and pieced it all together for us.
That's awesome. That's
I
so cool.
It took a long time because of our schedules too.
Yeah, definitely.
Like getting the same people there at the same time, and it's a little harder these days than it used to be.
Oh yeah, I mean, once you're 20 years later, you got families, kids, other jobs, whatever you got to do. I can't even imagine. I know just what we do, just trying to like find time to sit and talk to people for a little bit. Scheduling can be rough sometimes. So
I know y'all are probably always moving.
Always.
We got to shoot a video though, and that turned out dope. Won an award for it.
Oh, that video is awesome. So good.
Yeah. Thank you, man. Yeah, we appreciate it, man. Yeah, it took a lot of hard work, a lot of money to shoot that video.
But I mean, you can tell like so again, going back to the Don G interview and then the DJX interview y'all did, you can see what you're saying in it. When you say it's about unity and, just everybody from Kentucky, doesn't matter, race, religion, old, young, doesn't matter. You feature just everybody having a good time, which is what all the song's about, just coming together and just having fun. So it definitely resonates, and even if it took a long time, I think it definitely played off. It's definitely a good one.
It's been the unofficial, anthem for Kentucky for the last few years. So, like, we're trying to figure out how we can make it official. Like, if that's, I don't know if we have to reach out to Andy or what, but like,
let's go.
Right? Yeah, we're gonna have to do something. Yeah, he definitely knows about it, man, and his office actually was instrumental in helping us overcome a hurdle that we've been trying to overcome. So, like, for example, like the video, it never has had any money on it, any promotion on it, anything. So literally, like the views that it had was literally just the organic click of the views. Like, so Googling YouTube this whole time, all the way up until literally last week, literally this week. So it officially started, but they would not let us put any money or advertisement on it. They was blocking us doing ads for it, like to promote the video. Like, and the reason why they was blocking it was for political reasons. Was the reason why they like, which we couldn't understand. So we appealed it, like, this is not political. It doesn't have anything to do with political anything. So it turned out, because we got in the beginning of the video, we show the state sign that has the state sign, and then under the state sign, instead of Unbridled Spirit, now it has Governor Andy Beshear under the state sign. So Google, with their policy of it being political, wouldn't let us promote the video, put any money on it. Like, we can have it on there, but as far as putting money in it, ads and promoting it, they wouldn't let us do that. So then finally, one of our good friends, Matt, we call him 12, used to be on the radio, and he's just part of our crew. he's connected with the governor's office. So we reached out to the chief of staff, and he actually got a letter from the governor's office for us to send to Google that we sent into Google, and then they got that, and now they approved it. So at least now we'll be able to put some money into it to have it like promote the video and have ads and things like that. So hopefully you'll see a big spike in the video ads and it just getting out there to more and more people, and then hopefully we can really make some stuff happen with it.
Oh yeah. That's what's up. I'm glad that you were able to overturn
all the behind
that.
the scenes shit.
It's crazy, man.
It sounds like a struggle.
They just don't want, for one, I can't say just all of us, but they don't want Kentucky to come up apparently because that's the only thing that's going to happen. But man, y'all have been through it.
I remember seeing the state sign, but I don't remember seeing Andy on there. Like I just remember listening to an awesome song.
Yeah. So we couldn't understand it at first. We just was appealing it, but the appeals wasn't the way to go. The way to go was just to try to get them the proper documents. And just from us having a long reach of connected people, we was able to get the proper documents from the governor's office to send to them. But it was literally all off of the state sign being shown in the video. So next time you look at the video in the very beginning, you'll see the state sign right there, and that whole thing literally was a thing. That was a task in itself. Like that, to have that in your video, like you wouldn't know, but if you see it in somebody's video and it's promoted, and then it took a task to get that approved.
That's why, at least you got the governor's office behind you.
Yes,
though,
that's support. That is support.
You can at least say that Andy's got your back.
Right? Yeah, definitely. Yeah, he put the song on his post one day. This was Derby. This was
that's what's
this
up.
year. Like right around Derby, he had the song playing. He was just saying something about it. He was kicking back, and he had that song as the playing on the on his Instagram or whatever. So we like, yeah, that's what's up, man. That's what's up, Andy.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. Everybody from the governor's office to everybody. I mean, it's my daughter. 5 years old. She digs it. It's so cool, and I'm glad that you're overcoming these hurdles because, I mean, for one, like putting so much money into that video and not being able to really get anything back from it has got to be tough. Especially, you're trying to plan all these other things, do an EP, do more. So hopefully that'll help now that that's cleared up. That's what's up. So just to kind of change gears a little bit from that, I do want to ask a couple of other questions, I guess. For one, Demi, Ipkiss Pinecone, I know it's a solo thing, but what's the name? Like, where did that come from, and what does that mean? Like, what's it about?
Yeah, well, so basically, it's two different nicknames that one of my good friends gave to me years ago, and actually, in some of the Villebillies music, I would say Mr. Pinecone, and all this other. So here's where it came from. There's a movie called The Mask with Jim Carrey.
Yeah.
And Stanley Ipkiss is the character before he turns into the mask.
Okay.
So I've been known to have like different personalities. Like, sometimes I'm super quiet and just don't say much, and I'm kind of reserved in my own head. Get on the stage and I turn into something else. So it's kind of like that concept of the mask. So he would always call me Ipkiss, my real name being Stanley. So the Stanley Ipkiss thing just kind of made sense. So he started calling me Ip or Ipkiss. Then he started calling me Pinecone because I got real deep into like metaphysical, third eye, pineal gland stuff. So then I was like, and if you listen to a lot of, especially like the early Ipkiss Pinecone songs and bass drum aliens, I was really dabbling into that kind of DMT world. Then, and actually, like, I don't have it on right now, but I have a pine cone necklace as well. So it's like, people start calling me, you old pine cone, because I'm trying to explain this stuff. You know how when you're into something, talk about it around your friends, and it's one thing to talk about sports or music or the weather. It's another thing to talk about DMT and your third eye and your pineal gland and all this other shit. So I think that was just a moment where he kind of stopped and he's like, you old pine cone looking. So stuck. So I just kind of put it together, Ipkiss Pine Cone, instead of just going with Demi Demery or whatever. Because it was a little, the music itself was, especially at first, very different than, anything that I had done with Villebillies or any of my rock bands or what have you. It was just more fun, kind of psychedelic, odd, novelty thing that eventually I started, coming out as more of myself, doing your Good Lives and your, different kinds of vibes like that, At the end of the day, I probably just should have stuck with Demi Demery the whole entire time because it's just confused the shit out of people, especially trying to research me. I'm like, oh, check out this Pine Cone. It's like, what? Who? What? That? No, you're Demi. I'm like, yeah, but so
okay.
Yeah, I consider myself a good friend, and it took me forever to figure out how to say it or what it was or what to call it.
Yeah, it definitely wasn't a marketing move by any means.
Hey, it's cool though. I like that story. Thank you, for sharing that. That's
and the funny thing is, when I heard Pine Cone, one of the first things that came to mind was pineal gland, because back in the day I used to look all that kind of stuff up, and I remember somebody saying third eye, the pineal gland is supposed to be shaped like a pine cone. So I was wondering if there was a reference there. So
yeah, big time, yeah.
I got a third leg. I don't know about a third eye.
Hey, we've all got our own superpowers, bro.
Oh man, facts. So, all right, KD, man, what was it like? You mentioned Juvenile and stuff, and of course, we've heard some of your other music with Juvenile, Snoop, E40. What was it like working with some of those guys? Especially back in that time, that's during the Master P heyday, right? That's when it was Snoop with Master P at the time and stuff.
Well, with Snoop song, me and Snoop, we did this song. It was 2010. Me and Snoop.
Okay.
So Snoop was just, his regular Snoop self. That was after the No Limit. He was just his iconic self doing his own thing. You know what I'm saying? But as far as Juvie, it was back when he was popping and super hot, Cash Money, No Limit. So my homie Chili, Hot Boy Chili, he's on that Big Timers album, the Green Big Timers How You Live album. He's all on that album. Okay. So they literally talk about I'm in Louisville on 23rd Street hanging with this hot boy Chili, you know what I'm saying, Baby and all them so that's what introduced me to Juvie, and then we just kind of clicked and what I'm saying, just kind of would link it up on our own. He'll actually be in town, I believe, on this coming weekend. He has a show here in Louisville. So yeah. So it was definitely sometimes I ain't gonna lie, sometimes I still just sit back damn, man. At the end of the day, real talk, man, I was a fan of these guys. You know what I'm saying? So to become a friend to where so if I call Juvie, I text him or E40 or OJ the Juice Man, Shorty Low, he was a good guy before he died. He was a good friend of mine. I don't have to be this is KD from Louisville or this and that. I just text them. This just a regular, my number's in their phone. They know who it is. It's just so it's I still trip damn, that's what's up. The hard work, and just persistence.
Yeah.
And a lot of those guys I just met literally off of being persistent. You know what I'm saying? The same way with Snoop, and it was literally just off of being persistent. I had connections to people who knew Snoop, but I didn't know Snoop. You know what I'm saying? So I literally, when he came, quick story, when he came to Louisville, he one time he had a show at the Boat. So I just told my homie who was with me, I was like, man, we going to the Boat. I'm about to see if I can just find Snoop and meet Snoop. I want a verse from Snoop. Who thinks crazy shit like that like this? Man, I want to just go see if I can get a verse from Snoop. But literally, that's how I felt. And at the time, money wasn't even an object. So it wasn't even that wasn't even a concern at that time. So we went over to the Boat. I'm chilling, you know what I'm saying? So we about to leave. And I see this guy in who later became a good friend of mine. So this guy named Bean, but I didn't know his name at the time. He had on a Raiders jacket, right? He had on some Dickie pants and some Chucks. Like, yeah, and a white tee, like
super 90s.
man, straight like West, so like straight West
up
Coast
West.
look, like not the stereotype, but straight West Coast looking, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and I've been around a lot of West Coast cats from living in Atlanta, which is a migrate. A lot of California people be in Atlanta, you know what I'm saying? So like living in Atlanta for a lot of years. So I go up to dude, I'm like, hey man, you look like you was Snoop now, man. Are you with Snoop now? He's like, yeah, man, I'm Snoop's brother, which is his brother Bing. May he rest in peace. My dog, man, like one of the realest ever. He just died recently. If you seen Snoop talk about his brother dying like about 2 months ago, that's what he's talking about. This guy I'm talking about named Bing right there, man. And he's just like, yeah, and I'm like, I had already called E40 and told E40, man, I'm trying to connect with Snoop, man. You know, put a call in. So E40 put a call in or whatever. And when I told Bing, I'm like, man, I'm going to be 40's partners, man. Showed him my phone, like, man, I'm trying to do a verse with Snoop, woo, 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 woo. Man, I don't know what he want, but shit, I got this much. You know what I'm saying? And then he's like, let me holler at him. Man, he went and hollered at him, and Snoop was like, you know what I'm saying? He'll see what's up. You know, he wanted to meet me. So we linked up that night at the show, and, you know, just kicked it for a minute, smoked and all that, hung out, me, Corrupt, Dash, Nate, not Nate Dogg, but what's the guy's name? I can't even think of his name. Max Shine. Yep, we all went and shot dice at the casino or whatever while we was over. So then the next day, they was like, Snoop was like, man, I gotta go to Tennessee. Snoop's brother Bing, he's like, man, shoot, if you can get down Tennessee, come holler at us, man. We'll try to. I'm like, man, we down there, man. Well, I'll meet you at the show tomorrow. Just put me some passes up or whatever. Man, we shot down Tennessee, Nashville that next day. He put some passes up, man. We went, kicked it with Snoop. So Snoop was like, man, little homie, man, just from, you know, your persistence or whatever, and just I see how you moving, man. He's like, I got you. He's like, the only thing is, he's like, I gotta go to the Super Bowl tomorrow. This is like the day before the Super Bowl. He's like, I gotta go to the Super Bowl tomorrow, so we didn't bring any studio equipment. Literally, true story. And even like, I got a little documentary that I put out. You'll see all this on there. Like, we literally, I called up Guitar Center. Literally called up Guitar Center, sent one of my homies to Guitar Center, told him, I said, man, I'm trying to record with Snoop Dogg in this hotel right now. Let me buy everything about the sense. How much is it going to cost to get it all together right now? How much is it going to cost? It's like $3,000 worth of stuff. So we went and bought everything to record, the mics, the Pro Tools, everything, laptop, like everything to record, the stand, the little breather thing that goes around the mic, a little mixer thing, everything. And then came back with that. Snoop, man, he respected it so much. Like, we did 2 songs. So I did the song Go Ham with me, Snoop, and E40 on it together. Had to put 40 on it since 40 kind of vouched for me and made it happen. Had to put the big homie on there. And then me and Snoop got a whole nother song that's just me and Snoop, just because he respected the grind and the hustle, and, you know what I'm saying, just how I came about it, you know what I'm saying? So just situations kind of like, yeah. So it's all, yep. When I look back on it, I'm like, man, it's pretty cool, I think, like, to be able to hit them up and just know them type of people to where they gonna answer and respond back, or just, you know, like, it's just like a friend now instead of a fan.
Absolutely, man. I can't imagine what that's like. It's different hearing Snoop shout out Louisville, especially with the Louisville artists. You know what I mean? Because he does it right in the song. So
yeah, ain't no send me no verb, and all the footage. It's got me and Snoop in there recording. Like, it's got Daz trying to hook up the equipment and all that. Like, got us walking in with them boxes. That's all from where we went and bought all the stuff. And like, yeah, it ain't no like email track. It ain't no track that he just got out there with open lyrics for 10 people to jump on. Like, any song you hear, any of my songs with any artist from Waka Flocka to Juvie, Snoop, whoever, it was in the room, in the time, in the studio, together, dropping it, writing it, like, shouting it out, representing Louisville, like, on all of that stuff.
that's what's up. That's so cool. I know we're almost an hour in, so we don't want to hold y'all too long. I know it's probably getting late. Demi, what was it like for you knowing that, like, Alice Cooper decided to cover one of y'all songs? Like,
it was crazy. Actually, Tuck called me up. He's like, Demi, you ain't gonna believe this. I'm like, what? because he would just randomly send songs, that we'd done over the years to like people like Bob Ezrin and old producers, Toby Wright, things like that, just to see what they thought about it, And he listened to it. It was our last album we put out called Holy Water, and the title track was called Holy Water. And basically he happened to be in the studio with Alice Cooper recording his newer album that was called Paranormal at the time. And then he was like, he thought it was such a cool track. He showed Alice, and then Alice was like, I really like that song. Do you think they would let me remake it? And he's like, I'm sure they probably will, man. That's crazy. I'll call them. So Alice Cooper actually called, Tuck and was just like, hey, really love your track, man. I'm going to be in Nashville recording for like the next 2 weeks or something. If you all want to come up and hang out, whatever. So me and Tuck drove to Nashville. Ended up going in the studio with Bob Ezrin. Alice Cooper's in there, like still writing. That he used like the hook mainly and like the sound of the song, but he was writing his own verses and things like that.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and then actually the drummer of the band U2 was actually in their recordings on that track, which is crazy because at first you couldn't really see through the glass that well. Alice was in there in the actual room with us, but the band was out there recording. And I remember Bob Ezrin multiple times. He's like, yeah, U2's drummer, but we thought he said a YouTube drummer.
Oh,
and we like, why do you keep like, oh, it's a drummer from YouTube. I guess like, cool, whatever. And then we got to meet him and we're like, oh shit, that's U2's drummer. So I got to kick it with Alice Cooper. And then when Alice Cooper came to the Palace, not this last time, but I think it was the time before, he ended up, letting us get backstage and, saying what's up to him and all that. And he's like, oh, you're the Kentucky rapper dudes. He's like, I read your song. I was like, yeah, you did, man. He's a really cool guy. But that's crazy. Yeah, it's definitely one of those things I'm really proud of. You know what I mean? Because I can remember in the 80s, that video Poison, Your Poison was like on MTV. And I was dancing around the room and shit to that when I was probably like 9 years old or something, something crazy. And then to, fast forward years later and he's redoing a song that, we made and asking me what I thought about his lyrics, which I would never tell him the entire truth about that because it's Alice Cooper. You know what I mean? I do think our version's better, though.
Hey, that's always fair. That's always fair to say.
I mean, hey, it's whatever. But what do you expect? I mean, fuck, he's in his 70s.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And you're never gonna tell a legend like, but
story to a few people, and they're like, "Oh man, you should have told him you're an artist too." And I'm like, "No, man,
it's all respect."
Yeah, it's easy. Yeah, exactly. I mean, they to me, those. Some of them are a little bit corny or whatever, but again, it's Alice Cooper. He's a shock rock person. He's at 70s, in his 70s or what, like. Awesome. I'm just glad to be.
So iconic, that scene when they're playing School's Out for the Summer on Dazed and Confused when they're all like just running out of the school. Like that's what comes to mind when I think of like, peak Alice Cooper.
Definitely. Yeah. Here's how crazy shit is people don't think about. He used to hang out and get drunk with Jimi Hendrix and Jim Morrison. That's how long it's been in the game. And he told me that he said if he hadn't have got sober like 30 something years ago or whatever, that he was like, I'd have been dead too. He's like, it's the only reason I was able to do what I do. And he actually he's invested a bunch of money into like boys' homes and things like that for troubled kids and all kinds of shit. So he's like a super solid, humanitarian kind of cat.
That's awesome. And again, it's all respect. When he asked to remake it, it showed something he saw in what y'all did. It was all respect. So there's, to your point, there's no reason to say anything to him about it because he reached out in respect. And it's just cool that he even wanted to do that. Awesome.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of my claims to fame. Something I can say. I've told people before, and they're just like, "Yeah, right." No, really? You can look it up.
It's on Wikipedia. I'm pretty sure you can look it up.
I don't be making shit up. I don't got a lot to kick it.
Yeah. That's so awesome, man. I got just a couple more questions. For one, as vets of making music in Louisville and from Louisville, what's one message y'all would give to like current artists? Other than what we already said earlier, I guess about labels and stuff. But like, what's your number one message to like new upcoming artists here in the Ville?
Mine would be to be yourself. If you're, like, talk about your shit. Talk about your life. Talk about things that connect to people that they can relate to. Don't try to be something that you're not, because it'll catch up to you.
Shit, mine would be 10% business. 10% talent, 90% business. It's all about business. And look at it as a business. It's not personal. It's not an emotional decision. It's not even about just musical talent. It's a business. Treat yourself as an entity, as a business, and run it accordingly that you see fit. However you run a business. I always look at it like that. In this game, it's all a business. People can be friends. It can be kumbaya all in one corner, but at the end of the day, it's still a business. And that's how it's operated.
Yes, that's why me and KD actually do make a good team, because like he's far more business minded than I am. I'm very just creative, all over the place kind of person. A lot of heart and all that. Not to say that he's not, but I'm just more in the artsy, weird world, and he's more in like the business, like driven world these days.
Sounds like a perfect balance, though. You got the creative side, the business side, and
Yeah, we actually are. We balance each other very well. Like, yeah, our chemistry, like, it can't be fake. Like, that's why in the song and like we really standing on what we talking about. Like, our relationship is really a genuine, great bond relationship from two different sides of the earth, see things two different total ways, but still it's all a common ground that we see things in. And whenever we connect or anything we do, it's always meeting in that common ground. And it's not hard work. Like, I'm not sacrificing a lot to be in that common ground. He's not sacrificing a lot to be in that common ground. We just land in the common ground and from two separate places. So like it really is what we are. It's like, so you can really feel it like it really is about unity. It really don't matter what color, what age, where you from, nothing. Like all types of people can get along. Like, the whole thing is, we ain't trying to portray that's how it is. We trying to show you that's how it can be.
That's how it should be.
Yeah, like that it is possible. You know what I'm saying? For all different types of people. Like, none of that matters. So that's like, it's truly genuine. So that's what makes the music as it is. You see what I'm saying?
Well, and you can see it in your shows, like at the Gaslight Festival when we was there, by the stage. Everybody, anyone they could imagine was there. Different ages, races, different generations. Everyone just there supporting it, and that unity, you could definitely see it.
Yeah, so that's all we're about, man. Just that's all it's about right now.
All right, and last, is there anything y'all want to promote at this point? Like, what do you got coming up? Anything you want to shout out? This is y'all's time. After this, we'll kind of close it out. And yeah, we just appreciate your time, for real.
Man, I just want to thank everybody who's been supporting us, everybody who's been showing up and, just, sharing our posts, and just has been there, through it all. Shit, and like I said, we got a new EP, like I said, we working on. Like, it will be coming, you know what I'm saying? So we just working on that. And
shout out to
B Stille, definitely, yep, because B Stille is on the new one, yep. And shout out to Scales, like with Scales, like I was saying in the story, he's the one we started it with. And on this version, just to flip it up a little bit, but still have the same flavor, we got B Stille on it this time. So, shout out to him because he kills it. We love the way he came through and represented for us. So Yeah, that's it. Just be on the lookout, man, for that for our EP. We'll be promoting it when it's time for it to drop and all that.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
We're ready for it. Yes.
Any other live performances coming up yet that anybody needs to know about? Kind of in the books for the year. It's starting to get cold.
Yeah.
We get that. Demi get that in December, ain't it, or something?
Which one? What? I'm trying to think. Oh yeah. So what is it? I want to say December. I think
I
it's.
don't remember the date.
Look, we're going to be out there with Kentucky Music Mafia. It's at Zanzibar. I think there's a few other people on the ticket, but since it is a little bit ways away, I haven't like wrapped my head around all the details.
Gotcha.
But I do know that I actually probably should start promoting that now. Yeah.
But yeah, definitely like come spring and then some of next year, like that's our main goal, like to kind of have everything really out there and pumping and getting some real life and hopefully trying to get it on a bigger stage is by summer of next year. So I know like we'll be doing a lot of festivals and all that stuff again coming up in the spring and summer. So hopefully some fall festivals kick back in. Hopefully, they'll call us to get us on those too.
Yeah.
Maybe like Bourbon Beyond or Louder Than Life next year.
That'd be awesome, right?
For sure.
Yeah, so yeah, that's the goal. That's the goal, man. Bourbon Beyond, Louder Than Life, things like that. Like that's the goal for next year, man. So the only thing that kind of stopped this issue because a lot of people have been interested in us and been wanting us to do things, and pretty much all the things we've been doing have literally been people who just made a way to fit us in because they wanted us there. Because we didn't get the song done until May.
Yeah.
Right. So most of all those bookings and stuff is already done by like March, January, February, March, like for those festivals in the summer and all that stuff. So literally the ones that we were able to do this year were literally people who's just like, look, our time slots are full, but we want you. So what we can do is right before the headliner, we can make 10 minutes for you, or we can make 15 minutes because we want to have you. What do we got to do? And so we was able to just make those happen. But next year, and especially by us having an EP, we'll probably just be able to have full sets, and it'll be booked out a lot sooner since the song was actually out, and this year it didn't actually come out until May.
I mean, that's
looking
what's
forward
up.
to it.
Yeah, definitely looking forward to it. Glad we were able to catch you at Gaslight Festival. I was definitely happy to hear like the first real debut of Good Life. I guess that was an awesome song. I really enjoyed it. I feel sorry for anybody who wasn't there and missed it because you got to wait longer to hear it before I did. But yeah, we'll definitely keep an eye out, man. And I mean, if y'all ever want to come on next year, once you got a schedule planned out or anything you want to promote, we're definitely here to talk and try to do what we can. We'll share anything we can for sure. So
appreciate that, man. Appreciate that.
Of course, we appreciate y'all taking the time out on a random weekday for over an hour now, man. The stories have been amazing. I think it's an awesome thing, and I think that one thing you don't get with traditional news and radio outlets is that full story. You get like 5 or 10 minutes. You don't really get to tell the full story and your full feelings behind everything. It's kind of rushed, and we really appreciate being able to get the full story. So thank you for sure.
Yeah, appreciate it, man. We appreciate you having us on.
Yeah, for sure. Y'all have a good rest of your night.
All right, thanks, man. Y'all too. And I guess with that, we will see everybody next time.
All right, later.
Later.
They're off in the Kentucky Derby.
Interest of the greater good for me to smoke a joint and calm down.
I am the greatest. He'll fall an 8 to prove that I'm great. And if he keeps talking jive, I'm going to cut it to 5.